We shall wait for 2, 3 more minutes. Let's see others can join. Okay. Who is this board? The 758 OKS? Huh? Tell. Who is this? So why don't you all keep your correct name? That I don't understand. I have to go and find out. There is someone by the name of Osama bin Laden in the. Who is this? What the 758 OKS name? Who are you? Nah, we need. Anyways, I think he wants to. He does not want to open his identity. Okay, so he left also. Chalo, let's start. Huh? Acha, someone was asking in the group about the exam. Okay. So the thing is that I think in this come se come in the radiation, in the thermal radiation chapter, you all have done a lot of assignments. I mean, we have covered everything. So I think that would be enough, right? You don't need to go for the PDF which I am using to make you all understand. What do you all think, Aritra? Aritra,
Yes, ma'am.
is it okay now? I think like the assignments would be enough for whatever. I mean, anyways, the exam won't be a very long descriptive answer type, so it won't be a problem. So I think it is come in the this at least for this thermal radiation chapter, we all have done a lot of assignments. So that thing assignment would be enough. And if suppose you have any confusion, you can refer to the PDF notes, right? Nothing much, because we are not doing any big derivation and all those things. So that will be enough, right? Hello. So let's start. Where was I? I was sharing something. I was wrong. Let me present. Uh, sure. Okay. So I was somewhere here, right? So is it visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So, wait. Meanwhile, can you hear me? So we'll discuss about what we have to study and not after I complete this. I think I'll complete this today, the revision. So now, let's start with this. So, so this was the figure, right? So Rayleigh-Jean's law, whatever he told. So from that equation, if you have written the equation, what you can see? What is the most common thing you can see? All other 2CKB, everything is constant, right? But temperature and wavelength, they are variables. If you see here, if you just see here, this equation also, so see that 8 pi kbc, this is all constant. But T and frequency, they are the variables. Now, since in terms of wavelength, T is inversely proportional to the wavelength. T is inversely proportional to the wavelength. And since wavelength and frequency are inversely proportional to each other, T will be directly proportional to the frequency. That means for more higher T, the frequency will be higher. But let's stop. Like we won't discuss in terms of frequency. It will be causing much more confusion. So we will talk only in terms of temperature or wavelength. So the Rayleigh-Jeans law, the value of the uh, flux was 2c kbt by lambda 4. So 2c kb, they are all constants that their values will not change. However, t and lambda, they are the variables, so their values will change. And also you see that t is inversely proportional to lambda. T is inversely proportional to lambda. That is what was in Valen's displacement law also. Now you come to the figure. So according to that, what will happen? That as and as this t will increase, as and as this t will increase, what will happen? What will happen? Tell, any idea? As the t will increase, what will happen? No idea. For 5000 K, for 3000 K, how much was the wavelength of the maximum radiation I told you all in that figure? Remember? How much was
500,
it?
500
No,
nanometer.
no. Look at this figure. Wait. Just look at this figure which I am showing. So suppose this is 3000 K. It has a peak here. Okay, this and this it is not marked nicely. Wait, here this tab. Okay, can you see this tab? The colored graph. The colored graph. Can you see? Huh? I have changed the color. So see, at 3000 K, what was the peak value? Tell me from this graph. Here it is 1000 and here it is 2000. So it is somewhere between 1000 and 2000, right? What was the value? Around 1300 nanometers. This one. Can you see my mouse? Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
So at 1300, sorry, at 3000 it was 1300, right? So at 4000 it was 900. At 5000 it was 700. What you can see, that you can see that as the temperature is increasing, this lambda is decreasing. This you can see. Now, if suppose it is 6000 K. So if suppose the temperature keeps on increasing, like beyond this 6000 K, if you go beyond 6000 K, if suppose you go 7000, then this peak will be somewhere here. This peak will be somewhere here. You are getting what I am trying to say. You see that as the temperature is increasing, the peak is shifting leftward. So if we increase beyond 6000 K, this is for 6000 K. So if we increase beyond 6000 K, so this suppose at 7000 K, so this point, although it will rise in intensity, but this point will come somewhere here. Come
Yes,
or
ma'am.
not?
Yes, ma'am.
And then if you go to 8000 K, it will again come this side,
Yeah.
right? And then if you go to 10,000 K, it will become 0. According to this, according
Yes.
to this, according
Yes,
to
ma'am.
this, wait, where I was talking about the Rayleigh-Jeans, there they have said. Just a moment. Here. Wait. There are too many files open, so I am myself getting confused to share which one. Okay. So this is a different page. You can see. This is a different page. You can see this is a different page.
Yes, ma'am.
So the Rayleigh-Jeans, according to the Rayleigh-Jeans, lambda was inversely proportional to temperature. That means more and more the temperature increase, more and more lambda decrease. That means what lambda is decreasing? The peak, the point, the maximum point. So according to that, what will happen? That if you if you continue to increase, till 6000 K is this much. So if you continue to increase, so again this peak will come this side, and so there will be a condition. There will be a condition such that if t becomes infinity, lambda will become 0. The Wien's displacement law. Look at this figure. The Wien's displacement law is this experimental data. The Wien's displacement law is the experimental data. Classically Rayleigh-Jeans law was given, which predicted that as the temperature increased, the wavelength decreased. So that means when the temperature became infinity, the wavelength will become zero. That means this line will go on increasing, right? This line will go on increasing. But experimentally, what you see that it does not happen. You see that after it reaches a maximum point, it does not continue to increase. See, this was the classical prediction for 6000 K. The classical prediction was that if you continue to increase the temperature, this will go on increasing, and it will become zero. It will come here. It will go on increasing. So you're getting what I'm trying to say. You see that since lambda is inversely proportional to t, so as t will increase, lambda will decrease. So that was the classical prediction. But experimentally, what happened? That it reached a peak, and then after that point, it started to fall. You see, the same thing is for 5000. If the classical prediction would be, it won't fall. It will continue to increase, and then for a highest t. So suppose t is maximum, so lambda will become zero. But that does not happen. Lambda never becomes zero. You see, lambda never becomes zero. You see here, you can see the figures that lambda never becomes zero. Although the peak shifts towards left, but the lambda does not become zero. But according to the classical prediction, which was the Rayleigh-Jeans law, as t will increase, lambda will decrease. But experimentally, what it was found out that it does not happen. What does it happen? That in this region, this is basically the ultraviolet region. The wavelength less than 500 and more than 350 or 400 to 500, that is known as ultraviolet region. So basically what happens that after the peak, the wavelength reaches the ultraviolet region, it starts to fall. That means that in this ultraviolet region, the wavelength does not follow the classical prediction. In this, the wavelength does not follow the classical prediction. You are understanding what I am trying to say. According to the Rayleigh-Jeans law was based on the classical concept. According to the Rayleigh-Jeans law, this type of curve was expected. That as the temperature will increase, suppose for 6000 K, this curve will go on increasing. Then suppose that is 7000 K, so it will go on increasing. Then for 8000 K, it will go on increasing. That means there won't be a fall. This fall you are seeing. So there won't be any fall. It will continue to increase towards infinity. So that is why does it happen? That was predicted from the classical law. But actually what happens that as the light reaches the visible region, or as the photons or as the radiation reaches the visible region of the spectrum, you know what is the visible region? 400 to 700 nanometers. So somewhere around 400 or around 500, this starts falling. All the curves start falling. The curves never become zero. So since in this ultraviolet region, the experimental result fails to qualify the theoretical prediction, so this is known as ultraviolet catastrophe. Catastrophe means something that does not fulfill the theoretical prediction. Catastrophe means कुछ अलग हो गया, something different, something blunder, some blunder has happened. That means that is known as catastrophe. So you're understanding. Just to tell me you understood or not that what is actually happening. What does Rayleigh told and what actually happened? Tell. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So Suchetna, tell me what you understood, what I was trying to say.
Ma'am, at the ultraviolet region, the theoretical and experimental values do not match.
So what was the theoretical prediction? No,
My
you just tell
theoretical
me.
prediction is that at higher frequency it goes to infinity. Means uh,
The delay at higher temperature, the relationship is between temperature. The relationship is between temperature. Yes, you told correct that you correct told a part of the answer. So what happens that with increase in temperature, the frequency of the maximum radiation will also keep on increasing, and so such that it will become infinite. Such that if t when T becomes high, in frequency also becomes high, such that in frequency becomes infinite. That means it will keep on increasing, and in terms of wavelength, at higher T, lambda will keep on decreasing. The peak of the lambda will keep on decreasing, such that at very high T, or suppose at infinite T, if T is at infinity, so at infinite T, lambda will become zero. But that was the theoretical prediction. That was the theoretical prediction. In case of the experimental evidence, what we found out that yes, with the increase in temperature, lambda kept on decreasing, kept on moving towards left side. However, when it reaches the ultraviolet region, so instead of moving more left and becoming zero, it starts to fall. It starts to fall. Right? This is what that instead of going more and more this side, this 600K, this 600K, instead of going more and more this side, it starts to fall. So since in this ultraviolet region, the theoretical prediction and the experimental results do not match, so this is known as ultraviolet catastrophe. Clear everyone? I think ultraviolet catastrophe, I am clear now as I was clear, I mean very much clear. So I think everyone is clear now, right? Right, Shahid? Aditya, Mrinmoy, Akash, only you people
Yes,
are
ma'am.
here.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is the place where the theoretical prediction does not quantify with the experimental result, because theoretically it was predicted that with increase in temperature, maximum lambda will keep on decreasing, such that if this trend continues, so if t becomes infinite, so lambda will become zero. But that does not happen. It happens that after certain portion of time, it falls. After certain portion of time, it falls. Now, in order to solve this, now why does it happen, right? Now the question arises, why does this happen? So in order to solve this, Planck was actually, to begin with, he was not a scientist. Planck actually was a salesman. Basically, he was an engineer. So to begin this, he was working in some companies. So there they were predicted. This kind of behavior was predicted. So they wanted him to justify that why is it happening. So he made a mathematical assumption. He made a mathematical assumption, and he put that mathematical assumption. And you know what he found out? He found out that with that mathematical assumption, he found out that if we use that mathematical assumption, the experimental data actually fitted with that mathematical correction. So he used, and then that is what led to the formulation of Planck's law. So according to the Planck's quantum hypothesis, I won't go much into quantum mechanics because I believe you all will be taught that in the next semester. So according to Planck, he told us that okay, why does it happen? I said, tell me why the wavelength, why the intensity is increasing. Now what is happening? That as you are increasing the temperature, heat is increasing, energy is increasing. That is what is happening, right? So as you are increasing the temperature, energy is increasing. So due to that there is a increase in that intensity. So however, he gave a concept of quantization of energy. That is what he told, that there is not a continuous value of energy. That means there is not 1.1 or 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. There is like 1, then there is 2, then there is 3, then there is 4. So either a person can have an energy of 1 electron volt, and then he can have an energy of 2 electron volts. He cannot have an energy in between. He used this concept. So this is known as quantization of energy. Like for an example, if you go to a mandir, or if you go to a place where they are giving some 25 laddus or 25 potatoes packed in a polythene. So what will happen? Every time when you go, you will get 25 potatoes only. If you want sometimes that no, I want 28 potatoes, you won't be given 28 potatoes. So either you can have one bag of 25 potatoes, or two bags of 25 potatoes, or three bags of 25 potatoes. You're getting what I'm trying to say. It's a very bad example. So this is what do you mean? This is what you mean by quantization. That it is quantized. So every time you will have either that much energy, or you won't have that much energy. You cannot have something in between. Like suppose you are going from one step to another step. So there is no intermediate step. There is either first step and then there is second step. There is no in step. So he told that energy is not continuous. He told that energy is not continuous. This was our experimental data. This was really Green's data. And when Planck used his hypothesis, you see that it exactly fitted with the experimental data. When Planck used his hypothesis, it exactly fitted with the experimental data. So Planck's hypothesis was that energy is not continuous. Not continuous means that energy cannot be 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 like this, or 1.35 or 1.37. It will be like 1, 1.2, and then 1.4, and then 1.6, like some definite multiples. Like that potato example which I gave you. That if there is one packet of potato that is having 25 number of potatoes, so every time when you go and you ask for a packet, you will every time get 25 potatoes. In no ways you will get 20 potatoes, in no ways you will get 26 potatoes. So that is the concept of quantization of energy. That means that he told that every time the atoms will only gain energy, or they will gain energy only when they will have that much, or they will make a transition. They will make a transition. They will go to a higher frequency only when they will have that much energy. That means if suppose the energy that is required is hf, f is the frequency and h is the Planck's constant. So if they have one hf, then they will emit some energy. If they have two hf, then they will emit some energy. They cannot emit energy or they cannot emit radiation if they have an energy that is somewhere in between 1 hf and 2 hf. You are understanding? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
understand.
Understanding now the quantization का concept. That
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are.
every time you need to have that much amount of energy only to emit a radiation. If you are having a less energy, you won't be emitting radiation. So that's why, and then when he used this hypothesis, he was able to see that the experimental evidence of the black body radiation perfectly fitted into the mathematical description. So what he told that the energy comes in small packets, and he gave the equation that E is equal to NHF, where N is an integer. That integer meaning 1, 2, 3, 4. F is the frequency, and H is the Planck's constant. However, this all you will study in quantum mechanics, I believe. However, but these packets are so small. That means these steps are so small that they appear continuous. But actually, on the quantum level, they are not continuous. In the classical domain, you know what is classical domain? The principles that can be explained with the help of Newtonian mechanics, where the maximum size of the object was your bus and train and etc. However, in quantum, why quantum came up? Because Einstein was thinking, and he came up with a thought that our day-to-day life, like the things like bus and train, the laws that are applicable to bus and train cannot be applicable to things which are as big as sun or as small as an electron, right? So this led to the discovery of a quantum mechanics and all. Anyways, so that's a different thing. So, according to the Planck, the energy is placed in small packets, and these are having discrete values. These are having discrete values. However, these quantas are so small, these packets are so small that they appear to be continuous. So that he gave a new formula, and when he put the Rayleigh-Jeans formula, I told you it was 2c kBt by lambda 4. And Planck came up with a formula 2hc squared by lambda 5, lambda to the power 5, into 1 divided by hc by lambda kBt minus 1. So he came with a correction which completely explained the theory as well as the experiment. So there are all different forms of the different forms of the this you see, wait, I'll show you Planck's law. Okay. So he came with this formula. So he came with this formula. You can see it. You can see it. You can see it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So he came with this formula. So this was his correction, and when he was able to put this correction into the experimental results, this experimental results completely verified this was a theoretical prediction. So when he put this in the theory, so whatever result he got, it completely verified the experimental result. So that means that the failure of Rayleigh-Jeans law, the failure of the Rayleigh-Jeans law and ultraviolet catastrophe led to the formulation of quantization of energy and led to the formation of Planck's law, which states that the energy emitted is directly proportional to the integral multiple of the frequency. So here the equation will be E is directly proportional to NF, where N is the integer and F is the frequency. And when you remove the proportionality sign, this constant that is known as H, that will come, that is known as the Planck's constant. Okay, so that was the Planck's law.
How did this quantization of energy help to solve the ultraviolet catastrophe?
That is what. So how does it solve? How to solve was it? That is what I am saying. So this Planck, he introduced this correction. So there was a mathematical formula of Rayleigh-Jeans law, right? So that Rayleigh-Jeans law, the prediction, this graph which I have been telling you, this graph is actually the prediction. This graph is actually the prediction of the from the wait. See, this graph was the theoretical prediction from the Rayleigh-Jeans law. You know, 2 plus 2 is 4, right? So that is how you know. That is your theoretical prediction. That 2 plus 2 is 4. Now, the next thing what we do, we try to experimentally verify that whether what we are thinking theoretically, it is correct or not. So, how you verify, you suppose you take 2 apples, one of you take 2 apples and another one of you take 2 apples, and you place together and you get 4. So now it is experimentally also verified. However, if somehow the experiment does not justify your theoretical result, theoretically you know that 2 plus 2 is 4, but experimentally you are not able to prove so. So this is what happened in case of Rayleigh-Jeans law. That theoretically he got this kind of stuff. That means this will keep on increasing. It will not fall. Whereas experimentally we found out that after the ultraviolet region or in the ultraviolet region, it starts to fall. Now, in order to solve discrepancy, Planck formulated a formula. Planck at first formulated a formula, right? He formulated a formula, and then what happened? He formulated that formula, and after formulating that formula, he drew a graph. At that time, one theory was given, and an experiment was done. But there was some discrepancy between both. The theoretical prediction was not agreeing with the experimental result. So actually, it was not that first time they have done. They must have repeated it so many times. So it was proved that, okay, experimentally it was proved that this theory is wrong. So now what is wrong? What is wrong in that theory? So in order to solve that, Planck introduced a concept of quantization of energy and did some mathematical adjustment. And when now he used that formula to plot the graph between radiation intensity and the wavelength, the spectral radiance graph, which remember which Rayleigh Jeans plotted between the intensity and the wavelength. So he now put this formula and then he plotted and he exactly found that this theoretical prediction, Planck proved this theoretically. Experimental evidence was different. So in order to merge the theory with the experiment, he gave another theory. And to his surprise, he found out when he put that formula in that, he put that formula and plotted it. He put that
Yes, ma'am.
formula and plotted it. He found that it very well agreed with the experimental prediction. So he did not do any experiment as of till now. Till this place, he did not do any experiment. After this, it was further proved by Einstein by photoelectric effect, and then it led to the discovery of quantum mechanics and all those things. But till now, till here, he just put a mathematical formula. Suppose, when we used to do sums in school, what we used to do, sometimes you are doing the sum, but you saw that the answer is not coming, the answer is wrong. So what you used to do? You used to do some modification in your method so that the final answer will come, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This we do in numbers, no? In math we do this. The same thing Planck did as of till here. Till here, I'm not disregarding his contribution, but here he did that only. He just put a mathematical formula. He just changed the mathematical formula and then he plotted the graph. And then to his surprise, he found out that this time the formula, the prediction by his formula exactly matched with the experimental data. So this led to the development of the quantum mechanics. And and how he has developed this formula? He has developed that formula on the basis of quantization of energy. So what was quantization of energy? Quantization of energy was, he told that energy is not continuous, it is in the form of discrete packets.
Discrete packets.
Discrete packets. It's always in that form. So if a material is having suppose one packet, then it can have two packets. It cannot have 1.5 packets. So suppose it is having one packet, so it will give certain amount of radiation. If it will have two packets, then it will give certain amount of radiation. If it is having only somewhere in between one and two packets, so it will not give. And that explained why this curve falls, and why with increasing temperature, the emission is not, the frequency is not increasing or wavelength is not decreasing. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
And further, for understanding it further, concept of quantum mechanics and other things are required, which I think you will be taught in the next semester. And one more law was there, which was Kirchhoff's law. So what was Kirchhoff's law? Remember that? I forgot. What was Kirchhoff's law? Anybody? That amount of heat emitted is equal to amount of heat absorbed, something like that.
Ratio of emissive power to absorptive power.
It's
Is
constant.
given by the wavelength of a given wavelength. Is same for all substances.
For
Okay.
same wavelength and temperature. Yeah.
Okay, there are so many variants of Kirchhoff's law. I myself am confused. So there is one more law, that is Kirchhoff's law. As far as I remember, Kirchhoff's law is something related to absorptivity and emissivity. So that is, all of you are seeing that epsilon is equal to something absorptivity. Something like that. Okay. So let me see if there is some notes here of Kirchhoff's law. Let me see. A perfect black Kirchhoff's law states that I'm reading it from somewhere, for a body of any arbitrary material emitting and absorbing thermal electromagnetic radiation at every wavelength in thermal equilibrium, the ratio of its emitting power to the coefficient of absorption is equal to universal function only of radiative wavelength and temperature. क्या है ये? क्या confusion है ये तो? This is confusing.
Yes, ma'am. Little bit confusing.
Yeah, I got confused. What will I tell you all? That Kirchhoff's law is this and that. As far as I remember, Kirchhoff's law is something to do with the that amount of radiation emitted is similar to the amount of radiation absorbed. Something like that, as far as I remember.
Ma'am, alpha is equal to emissive power of a body by emissive power of a black body. E by EB.
E by EB. Right. E by EB. Let me check my notes. Yes, and for ideal absorbers, alpha will be 1. For ideal absorber, alpha will be 1. So that is another law, but basically we have not studied that in detail for our work. So we have studied only this Stephen-Boltzmann law, and then we have studied what shall I say, Wien's displacement law, and then Planck's law. And Planck's law also, that was the introductory concept which we have. Okay, this is what I wanted you all to see. Quantization. Just wait. I was looking for this. Open it. See, this was okay. See, this was the correction. This was the correction which uses this 1.2.6. Can you see this equation? Can you see this equation?
Yes, ma'am.
So this was the correction. This was the correction which Planck used. He expressed this the flux or the spectral emission radiance as 2hc square by lambda 5 into 1 divided by exponential h3 lambda kbt minus 1 d lambda. If you integrate it, I mean, you can remove this. There's no need to take into account this. So when he plotted this, he found that his theoretical prediction matched exactly with this experimental data, and so this gave rise to the quantization of energy, and then to quantum mechanics details, all those things. And so that was and further Einstein, when he did photoelectric effect, actually when Planck found this, so he just gave a mathematical formula. He did not knew that he has opened the gate to something very remarkable, that he did not knew. So he just gave a formula. However, when Einstein used this concept and he was able to explain photoelectric effect, then all these, and then black body radiation, all this, this Planck's quantum hypothesis only, you have studied this somewhere, I don't know, I have studied it somewhere, that this black body radiation, and then three phenomena that were responsible for the development of quantum mechanics. One was this black body radiation, and then your this one, photoelectric effect, and then diffraction. So in optics, the principle of diffraction. So these three phenomena were actually the backbone that was responsible for the development of quantum mechanics. Then Thomson effect, all those things that were responsible for making quantum mechanics, for that matter. Anyway, so we won't be doing quantum what shall I say, quantum mechanics we won't be studying. So quantum mechanics was here in this semester for you all? I don't think so. Quantum was not there, no?
No, ma'am. I think third, sixth.
Ma'am, third scene.
Quantum was not there. That is what. Okay, so no problem. So thermal radiation, I think it's done. So next we will start real gases. And one more thing. Forgetting. Tomorrow and Sunday also we have a class. So The timetable for Sunday will be what is the timetable of Saturday. Okay. So tomorrow and the Sunday also we have a class. So yeah, I got an easy statement for Kirchhoff's law. The ratio of the emissive power to the coefficient of absorption is constant for all the substances at a given temperature and is equal to the emissive power of a perfect black body at that temperature. That means that the okay E by alpha is equal to EB, right? That is only now.
Yes, ma'am.
Or at any given temperature, the emissivity or coefficient of emission, that is, of a body is equal to coefficient of absorption. Yes, this was in my mind, that epsilon is equal to alpha. At any given temperature, emissivity is equal to coefficient of absorption. Yeah. That is alpha is equal to E. So that is your Kirchhoff's law. So anyways, so these are the laws. And as for the exam, Mrinmoy is here or he has left? I think he has left. Okay, no problem. So I think the assignments would be enough for this, or because there won't be any big questions. So you all have any questions you want to ask regarding this black body? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Acha, tell me, how many of you were there in the second time? I think 13, 15? 15 were there, no? Any idea? Anyone saw? Nobody saw. Acha, okay. Well, Ajay, who is this Border 758 OKS? I don't know who is that. Anyways, so let's meet you all tomorrow, right? So tomorrow we have a class at 2:55. I don't know. And Sunday also we'll have same time. Okay? Aishwarya, you have to say something? You have to say something?
No, sir.
Okay then, see you all tomorrow. Acha, Mrinmoy has joined. Mrinmoy, can you hear? Mrinmoy? Not saying. So I think that in case of thermal radiation, we have done a lot of assignments. So that would be enough for the exam purpose. But you can check this PDF if you have any confusion. Okay, so for exam purpose, I think in thermal radiation, we have done enough. So we don't require much. Right? Okay, guys. See you tomorrow.